It was live.
Yeah, we live.
Alright, this is the I.S.U.P.K.
Yeah, checking your phone, please.
Alright, this is the I.S.U.P.K. Wednesday law class. Also remember, check out. Also remember, check out this radio show. So luck, yeah. Also remember, check out Commanding General Yohanna's radio show, which is Monday 2 a.m. Black Watch. Also, there's a radio show on Saturday, which is also 2 a.m. So you got two of those shows. Black Watch. Excellent show, man. Breaks down all the topics. One of the last one was the crisis in India, where the what got no air and so forth. East Indians is dropping dead like flies, man.
That's right.
Meanwhile, Pretty Patel's too worried talking nonsense about us, man. She needs to send some of her parliament, all that parliament money she needs to send some over there for her people, man. Instead of being in our face every day talking nonsense. But yeah, you got Commanding General Yohanna's radio show on Monday and Saturday. Also, we have classes here in the UK, which is Monday 7 p.m. till 9, Tuesday 7 p.m. till 9, Wednesday 7 p.m. till 9, Thursday 7 p.m. till 9. And the Monday, the Wednesday, and the Thursday class is held at the school at 394 Lodge Road, B18 5PW. So that's where we hold the class. Also, the Brotherhood class is on Tuesday. You can catch it online, done by Officer Shamgar. And you also have the radio show, which is Friday, 9 p.m. The radio show on the ends, which is Friday, 9 p.m. And then Saturday, the Sabbath service. So we have busy weeks and whatnot. So yeah, the schools are active. We open most days. So feel free to come on down, man. Likewise, feel free to come on down and so forth.
On your phone, you can check if there's something.
Please come on down and so forth. On your phone, you can check it. If the sound messes up, just let us know and we'll adjust it. So with that, we're going to go into the class now. Whereas we're going to talk about Christ's return and the reward for the men that stood with him, the men that followed him, man. The men who was what? Ridiculed for following him, which is us, man. We ridiculed for following him, man. But there's a reward for following him.
That's right.
Whereas now, you're abused for following Christ. You're abused for following him. You're laughed at for following him. You're mocked for following him. And the day is going to come when all this mocking is going to turn to a reward, man. You're going to be rewarded for following Christ. Whereas the people that are doing the mocking now, Christ is going to mock them on his return. Why? Because they're going to be the ones crying their eyes out, saying, we didn't know. Christ is going to say, look, man, I had brothers that stood stiffly for my word, man, and you mocked them, priests and prophets. You laughed them to scorn and so forth. But we're going to go to the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 1. Matthew 24, verse 1.
All right, the book of Matthew 24 and 1. And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple.
So now, Christ came out of the temple, and his disciples also followed him and was like, showing him the temple, man. Why? Because the temple was nice, glorious, and whatnot. They were showing him it.
And Jesus said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another.
So now, that's what Christ is saying. Saying, look at all these buildings, man. Very go to worship and so forth. Christ said, verily, man, one stone won't be left upon another. And then what happened in 70 CE, which is what common era,
Common era.
common era, man. What happened? The temple was destroyed, man, by the Romans, man. When they seized Jerusalem, man, the temple was destroyed. And now, depending on what scholars you ask, most of them can't find where the temple was located, man, because it's been destroyed. Some of them will tell you, oh yeah, Solomon's temple was here. Some of them will tell you it was over there. And why it's been destroyed, man? Why can't I find it? Why can't most of them find it? Why one stone was left upon another, man? So while they're looking at the buildings, Christ saying, yo, this is going to be destroyed, man. Now, at the time, they will not understand what then Christ goes further around. Go ahead.
Making sure.
There shall not be left one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down.
And the Romans threw this all down, man. They destroyed it. They destroyed it when they also destroyed us and ransacked the land. The ones that fled into West Africa, they lived, man, because they followed the signs and fled from the Romans, whereas the ones who stayed behind, they were starved and so forth, man. And the ones that did come out, the Romans did what? Destroyed them, man. First, some of them tried to fight from the inside in, and then the white men just kept pushing their walls back further and further and further until they surrounded them. And then basically, they tried to run one way, and obviously Romans surrounded the whole thing. So they tried to do a standoff where you stay inside, hoping this man would go away. It didn't happen, man. This man knew, you know what, we've got all the food supplies on the outside. We can eat and camp around the whole night. We'll stay here for years if we have to. So while they're eating and drinking, you're inside, man, being starved to death. You're starving. Imagine your food will only last so long, man. They know, all right, we're not just going to go to some of their houses because, you know, there might be laying traps or laying in wait. So how about we just starve them? Because they can only have so much food. And that's what happened to most of them, man. Starved to death. Go ahead.
And he sat upon the Mount of Olives. The disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be?
So they came privately saying, tell us when these things
Be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming?
He said, what shall be the sign of your coming? So now he's going to let them know. Because they asked, all right, then, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of your coming? So they want a sign like, all right, then, how are we going to know? When you're going to return and when this our oppressor's reign is going to be over? What signs do we look out for? Go ahead.
And Jesus answered and said unto them, sign thy coming and the end of the world. And Jesus.
And when they ask the end of the world, Christians think this means, all right, then, like the end of a movie. When this world ends and you all go to heaven and no more earth, this and that. The end of the world is talking about the end of our oppressor's rulership, man. Meaning, when's the end of the world? When's the end of his world? And when are we going to rule next? That's what they want to know. Go ahead.
All right. And Jesus answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you.
And that part's key, man. Take heed that no man deceive you. Why? There's tons of deceivers that are out there, man. Tons of people saying, oh, we represent Christ, we do this, we do that. Christ is the Lord's done away with. Come to this Seventh-day Adventist church. Come to this Baptist church. There's many deceivers, man, telling you lies about Christ, man, making you believe the opposite of what you're supposed to believe in, man. Making you believe, yeah, you can celebrate Christmas and you can get away with anything, and it's all loving. There's many deceivers, man, and this is why what Christianity is the biggest religion in the world, man. Why? Because there's many deceivers.
That's right.
And many people have been deceived by religion.
For many shall come in my name,
For what?
for many shall come in my name.
Many shall come in my name, man. And that's what many of them do. Many of them came in Christ's name, man. Many people come trying to represent Christ, believing that they're followers of him, believing they're doing things the way it should be. And then the blind is leading the blind, so the blind follow that blind man, thinking, you know what, this man sounds like he's talking the truth. When they ain't, man. Christians don't even go to this precept, man. They don't even show you the signs of Christ is coming and so forth. They tell you things which ain't in the Bible. They tell you babies is gonna have babies.
Yeah, the children having children.
They tell you children having children. It's signs of the times, man. What? That's nowhere in the Bible, man. That ain't in the Bible, man. That right there is just a lie. Go ahead.
I got it. And deceive many, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of
So
wars.
the signs of the times you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. And every time you turn on the news, you hear of wars and rumors of wars. So you get caught up thinking, oh, this new wars ain't gonna take place because it's a rumor, and there've been World War III that have been started ages ago. These rumors is getting you prepared for World War III, man. These rumors, where these nations flirting with each other, going back and forth, saying they're gonna destroy each other, it's rumors of wars when what? They're getting ready to actually go to war, man.
That's right.
So obviously what's gonna happen is you're gonna hear so much rumors, and then you're gonna go, oh yeah, it's a hoax again, it's not gonna happen. And the World War III is gonna come upon you, man. These is wars and rumors of wars because these nations really hate each other. Go ahead.
See that ye be not troubled.
And we need to see that we be not troubled. Because if you are troubled, you're gonna end up going back into the world. Say, see that ye be not troubled, meaning once you see these things happening and these signs, just understand, okay then, this is the truth, man. Understand that you're in the truth. You're seeing all these wars and rumors of wars. You're seeing all these nations against nations. That should let you know what Christ was saying is the truth, man. Every time you see nations on the news ready to go to war, you should see that and be like, you know what Christ was saying is the truth, man. Every time you see those things, like don't be sorrowful. Understand, well, this confirms the Bible's true, man. That should let you confirm the Bible's true, man. When you're seeing these wars and rumors of wars, so that's what you're seeing now: wars and rumors of wars. You've seen a rumors of wars not long ago with Turkey. I can't remember who it was.
Uzbekistan or one of those countries.
One of them countries. You've seen those rumors of wars, man. All them rumors of wars, which confirms what? The Bible's true, man. Because what they're doing right now is wars, rumors of wars everywhere.
For all these things must come to pass.
So before Christ's return, all these things must come to pass, meaning things have to get worse before they get better, man. Like you have to go through war to get peace. So you just thinking life's gonna be great, Christ is gonna come, and that's it. Nah, man. You need to go through some trials and tribulations. You need to go through the fire, man. You need to go through. You need to go through this affliction and this pain and so forth, man. So when Christ comes, you're ready, man. You've been through the fire and you're purified. Go ahead.
But the end is not yet.
But the end is not yet. So these wars and rumors of wars is going to happen, but the end is not yet. And that's why we're still here. Why? Because the end is not yet. Go ahead.
For nation shall rise against nation.
And that's race wars, man. Nation shall rise against nation, man. And there's all these race wars, man. I mean, people say, no, stop Asian hate. What is that? That's race wars, man. Black people versus white people, man. It's race wars. Everybody oppressing us. That's race wars, man. Nation shall rise against nation. And it happens, man. You've had tons of riots over here. The Brixton riots, nation against nation, man. Like what you will realize with all these riots, it starts off with basically a black man being killed or something. Black people, you know, they say we riot and we loot. And then white people come against us. And then East Indians who ain't even involved come against us also, man. But they do it under the pretense that, oh, we're protecting our shops, this and that. Really, all nations is against us, man. It says nation shall rise against nation.
So you can answer that. And when the Birmingham riots happened, there was an interview. They were interviewing some owners of a shop, and you could tell that really the initiative was just to fight blacks.
Right.
They were like, well, you know, we gotta do them in before they do us in, and it had nothing to do with protecting the shop. Meaning, them owners and his sons, they really wanted to fight.
See, and they do it under the pretense of we're protecting our shop. So they make out like, yeah, these black people are gonna break up our shops, this and that. When that ain't the case, man, they just wanna fight someone and they wanna fight us. So nation shall rise against nation. And this is why you need to stick with your own nation, man. Because every nation wants to do what? Rise against us, man. Every nation rises against each other. Like you couldn't be basically Chinese people had an issue with East Indian people. You could be a Chinese man saying, well, I'm friends with East Indian. So they'll beat you too, man. They'll beat you too. Why? Because you're of the nation who they're rising against, man.
That's right.
And this is why we need to stay together, or you're going to try and join another nation and get beat up, man. I don't care how much East Indian friends you got. Once them race riots kick off, they ain't going to protect you, man. They ain't going to say, oh, he's different. Why? You might defend some of them, but guess what? There's some of them that don't know you, man. There's some of them that don't know you, don't care about you, and to them, you're always going to be black, man. No matter if you can speak Arabic or whatever, to them, you're just going to be black. That's all they see, man. In a race war, the first thing they see is your color, man. You say, oh, color doesn't matter. In race wars, the first thing they see is your color, so color doesn't matter. Go ahead.
And kingdom against kingdom.
Kingdom against kingdom, man. Countries against countries, man. World War I, World War II, man. Kingdom against kingdom. That's what you have Allies, Axis, Germany invading Poland, and all these other countries coming to Poland's defense, man. Germany and who was it? Italy, Germany and Italy against England and so forth, man. And France and so forth. The Allies, the Axis, kingdom against kingdom, man. I mean, how can these European countries declare war on Germany for them invading Poland? Meanwhile, England's kept black people captive, man.
That's right.
Nobody declared war on Great Britain, man. Nobody declared war on these countries where they've oppressed us. But what happens? The British feel like, oh, they need to go and save everybody. Meanwhile, how are they saving everybody when they've got us as their slaves, man? If people cared about us enough, maybe people would have invaded England to save us, man. People would have invaded the Caribbean to save us, man. But nobody did, you know why? Because we just meant to be slaves. And in the British mind, they don't want Polish people to be slaves. They care about Polish people. That's why they went to war with Germany and Italy and so forth. Meanwhile, no one's gone to war over us, man. Nobody gone to war over us. And this is why when Jesus Christ returns, he's going to go to war over us, man. That's what World War III is about, going to war over us. Why? Because these nations don't want to free us. They ain't going to see Christ and say, you know what, okay, I was wrong. They're going to fight to keep us at the bottom, man. You know why? Because if they free us, that means they're going to have to do their own dirty work, man.
That's right.
They're going to have to work their own jobs. They're going to have to be oppressed and so forth. So they can't have that, man. They have to keep us at the bottom so their kids can live good. And that's how life goes, man. In order for one nation to rule, one nation has to suffer.
That's right.
And they don't want to suffer. So that's why they keep us at the bottom, man. Why? They don't want to suffer. So Christ is saying kingdom against kingdom. And that's what you see going on right now, man, which has been going on for years. Kingdom against kingdom. Nation against nation. Race riots and so forth. Go ahead.
And there shall be famines and pestilence.
There shall be famines and pestilence, man. And what you're seeing right now on the internet, saying, on the news, saying what there's a chicken shortage. There's a chicken shortage. A chicken wing shortage, to be exact. There's a chicken wing shortage, man. There's going to be famines where what? lack of food and so forth. Certain places there's gonna be nothing growing. Certain countries are gonna need aid because there's a famine and whatnot. And there's been tons of famines, man. All over, there's been tons of famines. And with our oppressor, there's been famines in places, and people send aid to them countries, and he keeps the aid for himself, man. He keeps the aid for himself and gives it to his soldiers. Meanwhile, the people that need the aid, they don't get it, man. He just lets them die and says, this is, and there was one famine where our oppressor said, oh, this is their punishment from God. So the aid that he got, he kept it and made them work super hard for that aid that was free. So imagine the people, the whole world gave aid, it was free. And this man said, this is their punishment from God. They have to work for this aid. So he made them work super hard for something that was free, man. And that's how this man thinks. And this is why Christ needs to return and remove this man out of the seat, man. Or this is what we're going to be dealing with forever and ever. Go ahead.
And earthquakes in diverse places.
Earthquakes in diverse places, man, different places. Places where there's not usually earthquakes. There's earthquakes there, man. And so forth. Earthquakes all over the earth. That we even had some in the UK, man. We ain't had no big scale ones. It's been what? Three something on the Richter scale.
Yeah.
Like the most. Yeah, we've had some little ones in the UK, man. So little that most people sleep through them, man.
I did.
I slept through it as well. I think it was 2 or 3. I slept through a good 2 or 3 of them. Whereas some places, they have big earthquakes, man. Then they have what? Them storms, hurricanes, tsunamis. They have all those things, man. All those things is in the Bible, man. All those things is in the Bible. The Bible call it a tempest or a storm and whatnot, which is what? Tsunamis and hurricanes and whatnot, tropical storms. All these things is in the Bible, man. Go ahead.
All these are the beginning of sorrows.
And all these things is the beginning of sorrows, man. Meaning times will get hard. And when times get hard, you need to understand, you know what? These things need to happen. We need to go through this rough patch in order for us to come out and see light at the end of the tunnel, man. That's what we need to do, go through this rough patch. Go ahead.
Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted.
And then the times coming when people when they deliver you up to be afflicted, man. There's times when you couldn't even have a Bible, man. There's times when you had to, if you had a Bible, you had to hide it, man. Why? Because back then, regular people weren't even allowed to have a Bible. Only and this is the thing, man. Even back then, even though it was wrong, even the Christian priests understood not everyone could break down the Bible. Even they understood this. The Christian priest even understood the regular man can't break down the Bible. He needs to come to us. And so imagine you need to come to the real priest for us to break down the Bible, man. I mean, if the Christian man understands that back then not ever a regular man could have the Bible and understand it, what makes you think you're going to understand it now? And you need the priest to break it down to you, man. And the priests are right here in the I.S.U.P.K. Go ahead.
Afflicted and shall kill you.
And you shall be afflicted and shall kill you, man. And some people have to die for the word of the Lord, man. It's how it goes. Some of us have to go to prison for the word of the Lord. Shall be afflicted, man, and shall kill you. Now, what Christ was speaking about happened, and why? Because after Christ left the scene, what happened? Most of his men was killed, man. Most of them was killed. Stephen and stuff was stoned to death. So they was killed, man. Some heads chopped off and whatnot. They was killed, man. John the Baptist was killed. Most of them was killed, man. Go ahead.
Oh, Slug, if you can add on to that. There's a book you can buy. There's no references at the back, but it's called Fox Book of Martyrs. And the book starts off with the disciples being the first martyrs to die for Yahweh, you know what I mean? And again, the book is just telling it from the church history, and many of the disciples died some gruesome deaths. You know what I mean? They were stabbed, beheaded. One was blooded with like a hard instrument over the head. One thrown off a roof, he lived. Then they hit him with something. Yeah, all the disciples, only John, who wrote the book of Revelation, he was the only one that lived out his whole life. The rest of them, according to that book, you know what I mean? I'm not saying the book is factual, but from the church history that they passed down via their mouth, that's what happened to the disciples.
Right. Is that one that says that Peter got hung upside down or whatnot?
Yeah, it's the one.
Listen, man, ton of them died, man. They died, why? Because they served the Lord, man. They could have said, you know what? Forget this, I'm trying to live and whatnot. And their punishment was worse, man. Listen, man. You don't want to fall into the hands of the living God when you've done something wrong, man. You'd rather serve God than die by the hands of man and knowing that you're right. What you done is righteous in the eyes of God, man. Because the Lord will punish you 10 times more, man, and so forth. And now we're reading about these brothers right now, man. They stood stiffly to the word of the Most High. Go ahead.
And ye shall be hated of all nations.
And we hated of all nations, especially us who follow Christ. We hated of all nations. They come up to the camp, want to fight us, man. Want to heckle us, want to fight us. Some of them come up angry for no reason, man. You ain't even said a word to them. You got people phoning the police on you every minute. And we're hated by all nations, man. Why? Because of the rumors that people spread about us. Listen, there's tons of rumors about us, man. That ain't true. People make out like we're ignorant, we're rude, or we shout over people, we beat our wives. People lie to us, man. All these lies that people tell about us, and we hate for all nations. People say to you, what are you doing with them? Them men beat women. I'll tell you what, he's never beat me. I don't know where he's trying to get that lie from, man. People lie, tell lies in us, man. And Christ says that the wood tell lies in us. Go ahead.
For my name's sake. And then shall many be offended.
It says, and then shall what?
Shall many be offended.
Then shall many be offended, man. And many people is offended, man. You speak to them about Christ, man. Don't cut your head off, man. People leave the truth all the time, why? Because they're offended, man. They find out they can't do certain things. They find out that they can't do this. Many people get offended, man. Say this ain't for them. You start doing what? Slandering the school and everything, man. Go ahead.
And shall betray one another.
And what?
And shall betray one another.
Shall betray one another. Judas betrayed Christ, man. Why? Because he was offended, man. Judas betrayed Christ because he was offended, man. Now, and they say shall betray one another. Now, for someone to betray you, it means that they was close to you, man. It means that they had some kind of loyalty to you. For someone to betray you, go ahead.
And shall hate one another.
And many shall be offended, man. Betray one another. So people will leave the truth, be offended, and betray people that they make the truth, man. That's how it goes, man. They leave. You thought, you know what? I was with this brother or sister for life. They leave, and then they betray you. Go ahead.
And then, and many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many.
It says, many false prophets shall rise and deceive many. And all these religious leaders is what? False prophets, man. Every last one of them is false prophets. And they've deceived many. And this is why they've got many followers, man. This is why they've got many people in the church, man. Many people in the mosque. It says that a false prophet shall rise and deceive many. Go ahead.
And because iniquity shall abound.
Now sin is everything, man. Iniquity shall abound. Iniquity is another word for sin. So because sin shall abound, meaning what? So much people. So now we are under a nation who pushes sin like it's normal. So much of us sin, we sin our whole life. Go ahead.
The love of many shall wax cold.
Sin shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold, man. So now listen, man, because there's so much sin in this world, I no longer love my brothers no more, man. I see that gold chain, I have to have it, man. I see you with that nice car, I have to have it, man. I see you've got this, I have to have it, man. Why? Because the love of many shall wax cold. Meanwhile, listen, I see, you know what, I know drugs is wrong, but in order for me to, you know, live good, I must sell drugs to you, and I don't care that you've got children who's going to see their father as a drug addict, man. Who's going to see their father overdose, man. The love of many shall wax cold, meaning you don't care no more. The love that we once had ain't there no more, man. Because of all this iniquity. Go ahead.
But he that shall endure unto the end.
And it says, but he that shall endure unto the end, meaning we have to go through all of that, man. Being betrayed and so forth, being hated of all nations, people being offended over the truth and so forth, your family cutting you off, famines, wars, rumors of wars. We have to go through all those things, and it says, what he that shall endure till the end.
The same shall be saved.
So you can't just say, oh, well, I've been in the truth 20 years. You have to endure till the end, man. You have to endure till Christ returns, man. You have to endure till the end. You can't stop halfway through. You can't say, oh, well, I've gave 10 years of my life to this, I quit now. It don't work like that, man. With this, there's no pension scheme or whatnot, man. With this, you have to be in it until the end, man. There's no, you know what, I've worked my whole life to want a pension. No, I don't do that. I'm leaving. Don't work like that, man. You have to endure till the end. It says, he that endures till the end, the same shall be saved. And that's what we need to do. Endure till the end, meaning go through these trials, go through these tribulations, go through these hard times, and take it cheerfully, man. That's what we're supposed to do. Take it cheerfully. Drop that. Give me Luke chapter 21 and verse 29.
Luke chapter 21 and 29. And he spake to them a parable.
So now, Yahushua is speaking in a parable now.
Behold, the fig tree and all the trees, when they now shoot forth, ye see and know of your own selves that Sodom is now nigh at hand.
So Christ is saying, yo, all right, you see with the trees. Now, once the trees start to do certain things, you know that the summer is now at hand. Like with the trees that we have outside, once the leaves start to grow back, you know, okay, then it's spring and summer's near. Like once the weather starts to go, you know, okay, it's spring and summer's near. Same thing, you know the seasons based on the weather and what you see. Now you know it's coming to winter when what? The autumn or when the leaves will start falling off the tree. Once the leaves die, become brown and crumple up, then you know, okay, then well, this is winter. That's why the leaves is falling off the trees. Now, you know, it's night until sunlight. Once the leaves on the trees start to grow back, the weather starts to get better. Even though at this current moment, you probably won't be able to tell because the weather's been really crazy all day. It's been raining, it's been sunny, it's been raining, it's been sunny all day, man. Go ahead.
So likewise ye, when ye see these things come to pass, know ye that the kingdom of God is nigh at hand.
It says, know ye that the kingdom of God is nigh at hand. Once you see these things come to pass, so once all these signs that Christ was talking about, once they start to come to pass, You know, the kingdom of heaven is nigh at hand. Go ahead.
Like, and verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass away till all be fulfilled.
And the things that Christ was talking about previously, those ones, those things was fulfilled, man. Most of them, like there's a precept this where Christ, and the next one where Christ says, "Some men standing here won't see death until I come." Man, there's some men that won't see death until Christ comes. But with this, if you go back in the chapter to verse 20, when Christ goes and when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies. Now that those generation of people, most of them lived through it after Christ. How much years after that? About 37 years, 35 years.
Yeah, 35.
It was about 35 years after Christ when the Romans compassed Jerusalem. And I guarantee you, people at the time would have thought, you know what? Whatever Christ is talking about ain't going to happen in our lifetime. They would have thought, this ain't going to happen in our lifetime. This is never going to happen. And what happened 35 years later, man? Jerusalem was what? Surrounded by the Romans, man. You're thinking, oh, this ain't going to happen in our lifetime. This will happen in 1,000 years from now. Half the things we're reading that you're reading right now, you're thinking, you know what? This might not happen in my lifetime. And it does happen, man. Once upon a time, we thought, what? Homosexuality would be so prominent in our lifetime. It was like, well, damn, that's the way how life is now. Homosexuality ain't going to be the big thing in our lifetime. And lo and behold, look, it is, man. Now you can't even go to work and speak about homosexuality, man, or you can get sacked, man. You ain't even allowed to feel uncomfortable around them, man. What do they call it? What is it? It's bullying or you're homophobic.
Yeah.
You're homophobic and you're bullying them, man. You ain't even allowed to be around them, man, and express concern and be like, you know what, I don't want to be around that, man. Because you can get the sack. Meanwhile, people can call you racist jokes at work all day, but you can't make a gay joke at work, man. Meanwhile, racist jokes is allowed to be made at work.
We're on verse 20.
Nah, sorry, you can jump back to verse 33.
Verse 33. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away.
Heaven and earth shall pass away, man. Meaning what? Rulerships will change. Heaven and earth shall pass away, man. Meaning dominions will change and so forth. But my words will never pass away. Meaning these words are going to be here forever, man. Go ahead.
And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting.
Surfeiting is an old English word for what? Strong desire, man. If you're having a strong desire for something, meaning sometimes you have a strong desire for something, you forget about the truth, man. You forget about what really matters. So now Christ is saying, yo, watch out because I'm coming soon, man. Watch out because I'm coming soon, or destruction's coming to this place soon. Watch out, be alert. But because of strong desire, what happened because of strong desire? Most people didn't want to leave Jerusalem when they got the sign to leave, man. Because of strong desire, you have a nice house and a nice little chariot. Most people didn't leave, man. Because of what? Their strong desire, man. Like, you know what? This place is home and whatnot. Lot's wife, man, she wanted to stay in that place, and what happened to her? Like, we need to follow the signs, man. Follow the counsel, man. Sometimes you're gonna have to leave your city and go somewhere else. Sometimes you're gonna have to give up what you love. Now, obviously, your home, you love it, but if your life's on the line, you're gonna have to leave that home, man. What are you gonna do? Stay there and die. Meaning, when you die, you leave that home anyway. When you're dead, you can't have that home anyway, so you rather leave with your life, man. And we mustn't get caught up in this world and be like, you know what, I'm settled. Because we can't be too settled, man. Because there's going to come a time when what? It's time to roll out, man. Time where you're going to have to go somewhere else. You're going to have to move from this place and so forth. You're going to have to move around. The Bible says what the pilgrims of the earth, man. You're going to have to move around from time to time. Go ahead.
And drunkenness.
And what?
and drunkenness.
And listen, man, we need to not be drunken, man. We need to what? Remain sober, man. We need to remain sober, remain in the truth, understand the end goal, man. That's what we need to do. We need to not sway to the left, sway to the right. We need to focus on the end goal, focus on why we came into the truth and why we should stay in the truth, man. Now, we shouldn't be as fighting and drunkenness and whatnot. Go ahead.
And cares of this life.
And what?
And cares of this life.
And we shouldn't have too much cares of this life. Because this life that we're living right now, it's not really real because it's all going to come to an end one day, man. Everything that you're lost for right now, everything that you got that strong desire for one day, well, now one day you won't be able to have it anyway, man. So you rather come into the truth and do what you're going to be allowed to do in the kingdom, man. You running down all these things, which is unlawful, understand this. The time's coming when those things won't exist no more, man. You rather just get them out the way from now. And then when Christ returns, what? You can be one of the men that's with him, man. You can be one of the men that's with him, one of the men that sees the crown standing so stiffly for the word of the Most High. Go ahead.
And so that they come upon you unawares.
And now, if you're focused on this life, focused on the latest trends, fighting, focused on your strong desire, your rap career, your this, your that, you put all your focus on that before the truth. This day is going to come upon you as unawares, man. You're going to be doing your own thing, thinking, oh, don't worry, I got time. None of these things are going to happen in my lifetime. And it's going to come upon you unawares, man. Christ laid down the signs at the top of the verse that we read. He laid down the signs. It was like with fig trees. Once you see certain things, you know the summer's near. And now we see all these signs right now. But people who are what? Spiritually drunk and whatnot, they ain't seeing these signs, man. People who are fighting and focused on other things, people who's got a care for this life, they ain't seeing the signs, man. They're just living their best life. They're not seeing that this pandemic was what? For you to get yourself together and come and serve the Lord, man. They don't see it as that. All they see is, yeah, it ends June the 21st. I can't wait to get drunk. All these people dropping dead and in their mind, yeah, COVID's ending, I can't wait to get drunk. They ain't never once thought, you know what? Maybe I should serve the Lord because I could have been one of those people that dropped dead. They don't think like that. In their mind, it's like, yeah, the party's back on. I can't wait to get drunk. And those people, it's going to take them at unawares, man. Because they ain't prepared, they ain't ready, they ain't following the signs, why? Because they're too focused on other things, man, that ain't important. Things that you think are important ain't important. They're focused on everything else that has no importance in their life, but to them, they think it's everything, man. And that day is going to take them like unawares. Same thing, man. When you read the Bible, you see the same pattern. Christ also said the same thing, man. In the time of Noah, it was eating and drinking, man. Meaning what? They were focused on doing whatever they wanted to do until the flood came and took them away. They was unaware, man. They got caught at unawares. Because if they was aware, what would they have done? Got with Noah, man. They would have been righteous, man. They would have said that flood's coming, let us build an ark, man. But they got taken at unawares. Why? Because they was too busy caught up living their best life. They was too busy caught up thinking about the club on the 21st of June once the country's open back up, man. They was too busy thinking about what feels good to them and what feels right to them. They was too busy focused on those things. And what happened? The flood came and took them away at unawares, man. And Christ is coming with fire this time, which is going to take people away at unawares, man. You're going to be there. One day you're going to be living your best life. The next day that fire is going to hit, man. And you're going to be taken away at unawares, man. Why? Because you was too focused on things that didn't matter. Because you put everything before the truth, and you should have put the truth first. Now, can you like things? Of course you can, man. But just make sure you put the truth first, man, and that everything else comes after, man. And that way the Lord will add everything else into you. Or you can't be like, you know what? I want to do this, so the truth has to wait. I want to do this, so I'm not going to do, forget the truth, I want to be a rapper. The truth goes against my rap career, so I'm going to just drop the truth out and just be a rapper. Listen, man, you're never going to make it as a rapper, you thinking that, man. And the Lord ain't going to be with you also, man. Whereas if you put the truth first, the Lord will be with you. Go ahead.
For as a snare shall it come on all that dwell on the face of the whole earth.
That's a snare, man. What's a snare? A trap? Now, people put bear traps in places where the bear don't see it, man. They put traps in woods where you're not going to see it. They put traps somewhere where you're going to walk and it takes you by surprise, man. Listen, man, that's what this is like. It's like a snare. If you ain't focused, you ain't gonna see it, man. Now, if you was walking through the forest and you was focused, watching your every step, knowing, all right, then there might be a bear trap here. Chances are you'll see the bear trap. But if you're unawares in your phone, like so much other food, doing your own thing, you're gonna get taken by a snare, man. Go ahead.
Watch ye therefore and pray always.
Christ is saying, watch ye therefore and pray always, man. Christ is speaking to his men, watch ye therefore and pray always, everyone.
That ye may be accounted worthy.
Christ is giving you a warning, man. Pray that you may be accounted worthy, everyone,
to escape all these things.
You must pray, man, that you're counted worthy, man, to escape all these things, man. Now, nobody wants to die. Nobody wants to have to leave their house or move out and whatnot. Nobody wants to have to go through hardship or whatnot. But if you do go through it, man, you have to go to war and fight it, man. Now, our walk in the truth ain't gonna be as easy as the Christian church makes out it is. They make out lifestyle outside of you come here and everything. So come to church and you get a blessing. I wish it was that simple. It ain't that simple, man. You go through rough phases in life, man. You go through the rough times. So go ahead.
That shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man.
And we need to pray that we're worthy to stand before the Son of Man. And by you giving up, you ain't worthy to stand before the Son of Man. We need to be worthy, man. We need to be found worthy. Meaning what? We need to be rooted, man. We need to stand firm on what we believe. Or we can't stand before the Son of Man. Christ is what? He'd rather you be cold or hot, man. He don't want you to be lukewarm. Like, there's no such thing as 50-50, man. It's one or the other. If you're going to be cold, be cold. If you're going to be hot, be hot. And we need to be on fire, man. Praying that we're worthy to stand before Christ when he returns, man. Because when he returns, it's going to be no games and no jokes, man. You're going to be trembling, thinking, damn, well, am I found worthy? Listen, man, this is why we need to examine ourselves and see if we really are worthy, see if we really live in this Bible, man. See if we really live in this Bible, or if, we're lying from him and ain't living it. So we need to see, man. Drop that, give me Romans chapter 13 and verse 11. Also, any questions online, just type them in.
Romans 13 and 11. And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time.
So now it is high time
to awake out of sleep.
It's high time to wake out of sleep, man. It's high time to wake out of sleep. Meaning you ain't actually asleep, but spiritually you're asleep, man. You're in Christianity. You're in every religion. You ain't doing what you're supposed to do. You're living your best life. It's high time to wake out of sleep, meaning now's the time for you to wake up to the truth, man. Now's the time for you to come out of church, come out of mosque, and wake up to the truth. Go ahead.
For now is our salvation nearer than when we believed.
It says now is our salvation nearer than when we first believed. Why? Because these signs is coming to pass, man. The signs that Christ told us to watch out for, It goes, the kingdom of heaven is nigh once you see these signs. So now our salvation is nearer than when we first believed, meaning each day we're closer to our salvation, meaning we're closer to our salvation now than we was 20 years ago, man. Now's the time for us to wake out of sleep. And we in a deep sleep, man. Religion puts a deep sleep on us, man. There's these movies and TV puts a deep sleep on us, man. We're thinking everything's a big joke and a game and a movie and a laugh and so forth. When life's serious, man. These times is serious times. Listen, you probably heard your grandparents say these times is serious times, man, which is true. We've been in a deep sleep, man. Go ahead.
The night is far spent.
Says the night is far spent. Go ahead.
The day is at hand.
The night is far spent, man. The day is at hand. The day of the Lord is at hand, man. The night is far spent. Now, most of the night we've gone through, man. And the day is at hand, man. Meaning what? It's almost time. Go ahead.
Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness.
And the works of darkness is what? These transgressions that we do, man. Going to the whorehouse, buying whores and so forth. These is the works of darkness, man. Works of which you should be ashamed of, man. Works of darkness. Works of which you should be ashamed of. It's time to cast off those works that you're ashamed of, that you should be ashamed of. But now, living under our oppressor, the works of darkness is glorified. Taking the next man's woman now is glorified, and so forth. All these things is glorified, whereas these is the works of darkness. We need to cast them off. We need to find out who we are as a people and stop listening to our oppressor and be like, all right, well, damn, I used to do that. That was wrong. Let me cast off these works of darkness. Go ahead.
And let us put on the armor of light.
The armor of light, the truth, man. You do the truth, man. That's what we're supposed to do. Put on the armor of life. And why does it call it armor? What does armor do? Armor protects you, man. You being in the truth also protects you, man. You being in the truth protects you from everything, man. Protects you from getting diseases that you wouldn't get, man. Now the works of darkness, smoking weed and all those things, being a homosexual, leads you to getting diseases, man. You putting on the light of armor means you ain't gonna get no homosexual disease, man.
That's right.
If you've got on the light of armor, which means you're not homosexual, which means you ain't getting no disease, man, and so forth. Why? Because you've got on the light of armor which protects you from harm, which protects you from diseases and so forth. But in the Christian church, they don't teach you these things. So we have on the works of darkness. Go ahead.
Let us walk honestly as in the day.
Let us walk honestly as in the day. Why does it say in the day? Because in the daytime, people don't usually commit crimes in the daytime, man, because everyone can see them. But people like to walk in the dark. Why? Because that's when you commit crimes, man. You don't see people beg, but now the burger houses in the day, but there's a time when nobody's in the burger houses in the day. People ain't gonna do shootings in the day. Why? Because they need that darkness to protect them, man. This says, let us walk in the day. Why? So people can see your works, man. People can see your works and so forth in the daytime. Because why? There's great visibility and whatnot. So it says, let us walk as light in the day, man. Meaning you do the right things and let people see your works, man. Now you're doing your darkness in the night because you don't want people to see. That's what you're doing. That's why people burn their houses in the nighttime. Why? Because they don't want people to see, man. That's why they don't burn their houses in the day. More people are around and they're going to see. Go ahead.
Not in rioting.
Not in rioting, man. Go ahead.
And drunkenness.
Let us not walk in rioting and drunkenness.
Not in chambering.
Chambering is old English for lewd acts, which is things like immoral sex and lewd acts and so forth. That's what chambering is old English word. Go ahead.
and wantonness.
Coveting and wanting everything and so forth. Let us not walk in those things, man. Why? The night's far spent and the kingdom of heaven's at hand. So now it's time for us to do what? Walk in the day, man, with the armor of light on, man. We're meant to put on the armor of light, which is the truth, and walk in the day. That's what we're supposed to do. What verse was you at?
Verse 13. Not in strife and envying.
Not in strife and envy, man. Now ain't the time for us to go into war and hating each other and killing each other and having beefs, this and that. Not in strife and envying. Why? Because the night's far spent, man, and the kingdom of heaven is at hand, man. And it's our job for us to come together and encourage one another and keep one another grounded, man. And when a brother feels weak, we lift him up, man. Keep him up. And be like, yo, we ain't gonna let you fall, man. Don't worry, we got you, man. Like with Moses, when Moses' arms got weak, man. Moses' brothers held his arms up, man. When Moses held, what was he holding out? He was holding
The staff.
the staff, yeah, before out the staff against their enemies, man. And Moses' arms got heavy, man. And what happened? One man on his left, one man on his right, held his arms up steady, man. They said when Moses' arms went down, people of Israel died. People of Israel died. And when Moses' arms went up, they prevailed, man. Meaning his arms got heavy. If you ever have your arms that long, your arms get heavy, man. And his brothers held him up, man. And that's how we're supposed to hold each other up in the I.S.U.P.K, man. We're meant to hold each other up that same way. You see that our brothers, not as strong as you in his weak and whatnot. We're meant to hold one another up, man. We're meant to make sure our brothers don't fall, man. And say, don't worry, give them counsel and so forth. Help each other out and show true brotherhood and so forth. That's what we're supposed to do. You can drop that. Give me 1 Corinthians chapter 16 and verse 13.
That's 16 and 13.
Yeah, counsel.
1 Corinthians 16 and 13. Watch ye, stand fast in the faith.
Say what?
Stand fast in the faith.
And that's what we're supposed to do. Stand fast in the faith, man. Stand tight, man. You're in this truth. You stand tight in this truth, man. No matter what you go through, no matter how upset you are, man, you stand fast in this truth, man. Hold this truth tight, man. Hold on to it, because this is the only thing that matters, man. Believe it or not, the only thing on this earth that matters is the truth, man. Everything else is temporary. Everything else is temporary happiness. And then over time, you ain't going to be happy no more, man. It's all temporary. So you stand fast, man. Go ahead.
Quit you like men.
Quit means what? It's the old English word for be strong. It's the old English word for be strong, man. Be on point, be on guard, etc., man. That's what we're supposed to do. Stand strong, stand firm, man. Be quick. That's what we're supposed to do. Go ahead.
Be strong.
We're meant to be strong. Meaning what? We've got the truth, man. So we're going to let someone without the truth make us leave the truth. We're going to let someone without the truth make us celebrate Christmas, celebrate birthdays, celebrate Easter. No, man. We have something they don't have, man. We have the God of heaven and earth with us, man. I mean, imagine they don't serve nobody and they're going to get you to go against the God of heaven and earth. Someone tries to celebrate a birthday, you say, no, man, I can't. I serve a power. You say I serve a terrible power who don't play them games, man. You say, I don't know who you serve. You serve yourself, but I serve a God who don't play them games, man. And I ain't celebrating no Christmas. I ain't celebrating no Easter or nothing, man. You let them know I stand firm and whatnot. But what you will find is with family members, they try you every single year, man. Every single year they come back. Like you would tell them, yo, don't celebrate birthdays. Like, okay, that's fine. Next year they try again, man. And you're supposed to stand firm. Now, if they see that you're weaker this year than you was last year, they know, okay, man, one more year, he's gonna be at my birthday party with me, man. He's gonna be celebrating Christmas with me. You need to stand firm and be strong, man. Hold on to what you believe, man. The Bible says, buy the truth and sell it not, man. Meaning you get the truth and you hold it tight. You hold on to it, man. everything you learn, you hold on to it and apply it to your life. Go ahead, anyone more on that?
Let all your things be done with charity.
Brotherhood and so forth. We meant to have love for one another, brotherhood and whatnot, man. Like we come in here, we meant to do what? Care for one another. Your burdens becomes mine, man. I help you, you help me. Why? Because we got the same end goal at the end of it, man. Like I ain't in here to make your life hard, and you're in here to make my life hard, man. We're meant to come together and make one another's life easier, man. With brotherhood, brotherhood is supposed to make your life easier. Like you're meant to have a bad day on your job, and you're meant to be able to phone your brothers or your sisters and be like, damn, and you know, we're meant to, and we're meant to make each other feel better, man. Make brothers realize, don't worry, man. This slavery is temporary. Who cares about this slavery and whatnot? We've got one another, man. Meanwhile, the whole earth's falling apart. We had one. Listen, during COVID-19, this whole earth was falling apart, man. And we had each other, man. This whole earth was crumbling. And what did we have? We had each other, man. We was living our best life, man. We was in London, man. We was in Manchester. We were seeing the brothers and sisters, man, having food and so forth. We was coming together, man. We didn't care about this COVID stuff like the rest of the world, man. There was, you know, crying and so forth. All the clubs shut down, this is shut. And we had each other, man. And during COVID-19, it should have let you know what really matters, man. Because at that time, you realized that all these little things you was chasing didn't really matter. You realized everything you thought you loved didn't really matter. And then you realize, you know what? Family and brotherhood is everything, man. That should have taught you a lesson. But we can drop that. Give me hold on, James chapter 1 verse 12. Also, any questions on the line, you can just type them in and Lord Allah will get to them.
James 1 and 12. Blessed is the man that endureth temptation.
Blessed is the man that endureth temptation, man. Meaning you don't give in. To endure means you fight, man, and battle. Now you giving in to temptation is what? You basically giving in to your lusts and your demons and so forth. We ain't supposed to do that, man. We're supposed to endure, go through the fire, man. Go through these trials. That's what we're supposed to do, man. Like if you're going through these trials and it's hard, you pick up the phone, man. The council. Pick up the phone, man. If you're going through something and in your mind you want to pick up the phone, you want to go do something and it's unlawful, you phone the brother and say, am I allowed to do this? And the brother will set you straight, man. Because usually in your mind, like I always say, in your mind, before you do anything, there's two voices in your head, man. One says don't do it, one says do it, and you try and ignore one of them to follow the other one, man. Now, there's none of this, oh, well, I wasn't too sure. You can make sure by picking up the phone, man. You can pick up the phone and you can make sure. Go ahead.
For when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life.
When he's what?
When he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life.
So you ain't gonna get no crown without fighting for it, man. You ain't gonna get no crown without going to war, man. You have to go to war with them demons in your head. You have to go to war with them lusts and temptations that you have, man. You have to go to war and say, I'm not gonna do these things, man. I'm stronger than this. You have to do all of that in order for you to get a crown of life. Now, if you give up and say, you know what, this is too strong for me, I'm gonna go back to cigarettes, I'm gonna go back to weed, I'm gonna go back to drugs, you ain't gonna receive that crown, and you don't deserve to get that crown, man. Only men that endure temptations, man, and fight and battle and overcome, they deserve a crown, man. Them men are found trustworthy, them men are found strong and stand stiff for the word of the Lord. Whereas a man that just gives into all his temptations, really, he won't believe the word of the Lord. Really, he's just, you know, just does whatever is pleasing to him, does whatever feels good to him. Go ahead.
which the Lord have promised to them that love him.
Which the Lord did what?
Have promised to them that love
The
him.
Lord promised a crown of life to them that love him. And how do you love God? By doing whatever he says, man. That's how you love him, man. You love him by following his commandments, man. That's what love is. Love is following commandments. Love ain't all of this, oh, I love you, Lord. And that's it, and you leave it at that. That's not what love is, man. Love is following the commandments, and it tells you that in the Bible. Read on.
Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God.
It says, let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God. Because people be like, oh, the Lord's tempted me to do it, I might as well do it. Listen, man, that's the demons in your head telling you that, man. The Lord don't tempt no one, man. But Satan will tempt you, man. Satan will say, yo, go do this, go do this, go do that. And you go do it, man. And what are you tempted with? Your own lust, man. You're tempted with what? Like say for instance, you come into the truth and there's certain things which you find hard to give up. Now say if weed you find hard to give up, you're tempted with weed, man. You're tempted with, don't worry, man. You ain't smoked in 3 months. One more hair. You're tempted like that, one more hair. And you start saying, I'm not sure smoke done. But one more hair. And then before you know it, you smoke one turns into two turns into 3. And then you just backslide all the way, and you just slide all the way back to where you was in the beginning, man. And then you say, oh, God tempted me. God put that weed there. You start to say things like, well, God's in control of everything, so God must have put that weed there because he wanted me to smoke it. You start to try and process it in your mind and make out it's God's fault why you're a drug addict, man. It's God's fault why you smoked all that weed and took all them drugs. Listen, man, because you're full of lust, you went and found them drugs, man, and gave into them demons in your head that was telling you to smoke, and then you want to try and blame the Lord. Go ahead.
Tempted of God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempted he any man.
Listen, the Lord ain't gonna tempt you to go have sex with a man, man. The Lord ain't gonna do that, man. The Lord tells you not to have sex with a man if you're a man. The Lord ain't tempting you to do that. The Lord tells you not to do it, and the demons in your head tells you to go and do it, man. The Lord tells you to not do it, and Satan says, go and do it. And then it becomes a battle of who are you going to listen to? Are you going to let Satan get in your mind and you do what he says, or are you going to listen to the Lord, man? When you're reading these words on this page, these are the words of the Lord. The Lord saying, don't have sex with no man. Satan's telling you to do it, man. And by you doing it, you just ain't going to get a crown of life, man. And then after that, after you do it and you feel bad, Satan's going to left you. And what does Satan do? He gives his report to the Most High, man. Guess what such and such done? You see that man that you were saying was down for you? He just went and smoked some weed, man, didn't you see? He just went and smoked an ounce of weed, man. This man don't deserve a crown. This man don't deserve a crown. And then guess what happens? That you sinning once turns into 2 times, turns into 3 times. And the Satan builds a stronger case, man. Stronger case when he reports back to the Lord. And then what happens? The Lord's going to visit you soon, man. The Lord's going to visit you soon. And you're going to die, man. And you ain't going to get that crown of life. Why? Because you obeyed Satan and forfeited that crown, man. Meanwhile, Christ is what? Up there pleading with the Father, man. Saying, yo, these brothers, give them time, man. Give them a grace period. Give them time. Every time you mess up, it's like a spit in the face to Christ, man. And Satan comes up and says, well, you see that man that you said to give time? Well, how much more time? How much more time? Listen, Satan is like what is it? The prosecutor. He's like the prosecutor, man. He comes up and saying, well, how much more time should we give him? I mean, the last time he said that he won't do it again, and he's done it again. He's done it again. Until the Lord says, all right, this man's had enough time. It's time to take him out, man. Or you can be righteous, man. And the Most High can say, yo, this brother's too stiff for me, man. This brother's getting a crown, man. Now, you can be either one of two people, man. The man that dies a dishonorable death, man. Or the person that leaves the truth and dies like a fool, man. Or someone that receives a crown of life. Someone that goes through the fire, man. Someone that Satan can't say nothing bad about, man. Someone that he can't go and report in his report, say, well, he smoked weed, he done this sin, he done that sin. He's trying to get a report on you, man. He's tempting you to sin, but you don't, man. And the Lord will see that and be like, you know what? This brother's earned that crown, man. This brother's earned that reward, man. This brother's earned that reward. He's earned that crown. You need to fight to get that crown, man. You need to go through these trials and these temptations, man. Go ahead.
But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust.
And you're drawn away of your lust, man. Like your lust is like over there and you're drawn away to your lust. And then after you're on the blame God, I can't pull it there. You was drawn away because you to your lust, man. And then you just give in. Like you don't fight it or nothing when you're supposed to fight it, man. You're supposed to be like, you know what? I'm gonna fight this demon in my head. Because I know this is wrong. And I know this life is temporary. And I know the reward which I'm gonna get after this is way greater than this lust that I want so much, which is way greater than this thing that I desire so much. So yeah, man, we need to fight them demons and fight that lust.
Yeah. And enticed.
And what?
And enticed.
Enticed, man. That weed smells too good to be got, man. You're enticed, man. You're drawn away of your lust and you're enticed. The animal is
yeah. Then when lust has conceived.
Then when lust has conceived, meaning you're full of lust and you give into the demons in your head. Now that lust that you want to be, you don't go back to it, man. Once lust is conceived,
it bringeth forth sin.
Now that lust in your mind that you're thinking about so much, you're drawn away to that lust, and then you go there, and then it becomes sin. Why? Because you've broke the law. Go ahead.
And sin, when it is finished.
And sin, when it is finished, go ahead.
Bringeth forth death.
And sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death. So by you not fighting them demons in your head and them temptations, the end result is death. So before you do anything, just think the end result of this could be death, man. That's what we should think, man. The end result of all of this I'm doing, which is unrighteous, could be death. And surely you don't want to die, man. Surely none of us want to die. The 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 3. So now we're going to go to the book of 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 3. Also, any questions, type them in. And also remember, we got the Feast of First Fruits, the 21st of June, man, which falls on a Monday. So we got 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 3.
1 Peter 1 and 3. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, which according to his abundant mercy have begotten us again unto a lively hope.
Meaning Christ died for us, we got us again, brought us back, right? Because we was cut off, man. We was cut off. And Christ dying is what brought us back, which is what gave us a second chance, which is what gave us a second chance that we should have blown in, which we shouldn't take for granted, because really we don't deserve a second chance. But Christ dying allowed us to get that second chance that we don't deserve, man. Like we all deserve to die. Because of that second chance, now we can get a chance to live, man. We can get a chance to say, you know what, I messed up. Time for me to change my life. Go ahead.
Unto a lively hope by the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead, to an inheritance incorruptible.
And that's what we fight for, man, to get an inheritance which is incorruptible. We fight to get a crown which is incorruptible. We're fighting to get rulership, which is incorruptible. Whereas now, you want to be what the biggest drug dealer? That's corruptible, man. You want to be the biggest rapper? That's corruptible, man. Look at Noel Pratt, man. He was an actor, man, doing good. And now his reputation is corrupted, man. Corruptible. Meanwhile, what we fighting for is incorruptible. Everything, like I said, everything you're doing now is temporary. It's not going to last forever. You're selling drugs to get the nicest car, and guess what happens? That car becomes old. One day that car becomes old. One day that car becomes out of fashion. One day that car doesn't even pass the clean air zone. Man. Imagine 10 years ago, you were selling all these drugs to get a car. 10 years later, it don't pass the clean air zone. Just imagine, man. Like I said, everything is temporary, man. Accept the truth, man. Everything is temporary, whereas the truth is forever, man. Christ in heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words will never pass away. Meaning everything you lust for, everything you desire, the time's gonna come when you can't do it no more anyway. Meanwhile, this truth is gonna be here forever, man. Go ahead.
So if I can add on to that, it's funny. I was watching some songs from like the 90s, and the cars are, and you gotta imagine people sold drugs, died, spent years behind bars for cars and things that, for cars and clothes that no one wouldn't look on twice in this day and age.
Right, exactly. You don't all that for them old cars that didn't have power steering, didn't have electric windows. You sold drugs for that, man. You increase sin on top of sin for cars that don't even have electric windows, man. For cars that don't have power steering. Now those people are dead and gone, and they lived a life of criminal for those things which goes out of fashion. Everything goes out of fashion except the truth, man. So you might as well just be in the truth, because all your lusts and your desires is gonna go out of fashion, man. Go ahead.
And undefiled, and that fadeth not away.
Now listen, man, like the captain said, man, them cars definitely faded away, man. Them clothes definitely faded away. Them old cars in them old escorts.
Mercedes
Mm-hmm.
and all that.
Hold on, once upon a time, those 20, 30 grand, now they're like, what? You get them for like £200. You see? And guess what? The Lord ain't gonna be like, don't worry, your sins diminished because the price of what you're selling drugs for has diminished. You don't work like that, man. You have to still stand before the Lord, man, knowing, you know what? All these things that are chased, I didn't really need them. And that's what happens. Speak to a man who's in jail for selling drugs and say, you know what? I would give up everything just to be free. He'll say, you know what? I'll give up everything for my freedom, man. Whereas you can be a free man in the I.S.U.P.K, man. You can be a free man in here, man. That's what you should come and do, man. Get in the I.S.U.P.K. Go ahead.
Reserved in heaven for you.
It's reserved what?
In heaven for you.
We've got rewards reserved for us, man. As long as we go through them temptations, man. There's a crown reserved for you. But you have to fight for that crown, man. Go through them temptations, go through the fire, and that crown will get put on your head, man. It's reserved for you. It's already reserved for you. It's only you who can make yourself not get that crown, man. It's only you who can make yourself not get that crown. Go ahead.
Who are kept by the power of God.
Listen, man, you're kept by the power of God. So you ain't supposed to be giving into nobody telling you to do some kind of transgressions. You're meant to understand. You're supposed to understand the power of the Lord. When you understand that, what you would understand is, I can't give in to no Christian. I can't give in to no woman. I can't give in to no man. You need to put the Lord first, man. If anyone's telling you to transgress against the Lord, you're supposed to say, like, oh man, I serve a great power and I ain't gonna do that, man. That's what we're supposed to do. Not just be like, you know what, let me just celebrate this birthday once. Because once we're turning into you doing it every week, man. Go ahead. Sorry, I can't hear you.
No, like, no, sorry, how's the sound?
Oh, I lost it. Yeah.
No sweat. Stuck yet? One second.
We who are kept by the power of God through faith unto salvation, ready to be revealed in the last time. So now we kept by the power of the Lord, man. Through faith, and your faith is what? Knowing the mercy of the Lord. I'm going to receive a crown. Man. I'm going to roll with Christ. I'm going to roll with righteous brothers and sisters, man. That's what we know. That's what we know. If we have faith, and faith is what? You believe in, you knowing what you're reading is true, man. Now, if you don't really know, if you don't really believe, you're just gonna do your own thing. That's true. To get this from sort of myth. But if you really believe and have faith, if you really believe and have faith, you would know, you know what? This life is temporary and I'm striving for that crown. That's what you will do. Wherein ye greatly rejoice, though now for a season, if need be, ye are in heaviness. And now for a season, you're in heaviness. But guess what? It's only for a season, man. This heaviness you're going through is only for a season. This hard life you're going through is only for a season, man. It's not forever. It's only for a season, which is what? Temporary. Seasons is what? Temporary. And what we're going through is temporary, man. Having this through manifold temptations, that the trial of your faith being much more precious than of gold, that precious though it be tried in fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Yahushua. Listen, that trying that we're going through the fire, man. Like gold is purified. We better than gold, man. So imagine you're going through the fire to be purified, meaning all these things that you're fighting now, you're fighting them right so you can overcome them, man. You're facing these demons head on. You're facing all these demons head on so you can overcome these demons, man. So you can be purified. So these lusts and desires that you did have, once you fight them and go through them and beat them, you don't no longer have the lusts and desires.
And where you at? Verse 6.
Verse 6.
Wherein ye greatly rejoice, though now for a season, if need be, ye are in heaviness.
And now for a season, you're gonna go through stuff, man. For a season, you're gonna be oppressed, you're gonna be hurt, you're gonna be upset. But it's for a season. Once you understand this isn't forever, it will make your life a lot easier, man. Once you understand this is just for now, it's a season. Now, a season doesn't last forever.
That's right. Through manifold temptations, the trial of your faith being much more precious than of gold,
and be much more precious than gold,
that perisheth, through though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise.
And you want to be found unto praise, man. You don't want to be found shameful, man. You don't want to be looked at as shameful and so forth. You want to be looked at as a man, you know what? This man deserves some praise because he's battled his demons, beat them. Or you don't want to be looked at as a man that everyone looks at as shameful, man. You want to be tried through the fire and you want to come out the other side purified, man. You don't want to get burnt up in that fire, man. You don't want to be in that fire and not able to come out of that fire. Because why? You gave into your loss. Go ahead.
And your faith unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Jesus Christ.
And you want glory when Christ returns, man. Like now, we're looking at glory. People tell us, oh, go get a job. Oh, look how you dress. Like now, we ain't in our glorious stage, but they're going to see that glory. Man. I mean, we at the bottom of society right now. But when Christ returns, everybody's going to see that glory, man. They're going to see you and be like, that man that we thought was nothing. This man's rolling with Christ, man. This man's got riches. This man's got a crown on his head. This man's words mean something. This man tells nations you ain't getting no rain, man. This man tells nations you ain't getting no food. it's gonna mean something, man. Once Christ comes with his glory, he's gonna give brothers glory as well, man. Brothers that could speak with him. And some people's gonna be there shamed, man. Some people's gonna be there shamed. Meanwhile, the people that you look down upon are gonna have that glory. Whereas now ain't our time for us to be glorified and people knowing who we are, this and that. But the time's coming when this whole earth is going to look at us as more than just niggers and spicks and so forth, man. This world is going to look at us as what? The children of God, man. As the people that run the earth, the people that make all the right decisions, the people that make this earth go round, man. The time's coming when we're going to be glorified, man. Whereas now, they ain't really glorified, so we're in heaviness, but it's just for a season. We're poor right now, it's just for a season. We're oppressed right now, it's just for a season. But don't worry, man, seasons change, and this is just for a season. But the time's coming when what? We're going to have an incorruptible inheritance and an incorruptible crown, man. The time's coming. You probably can interrupt that. Second Timothy, Second Timothy chapter 4 and verse 1. So we're going to go to the book of Second Timothy chapter 4 and verse 1.
All right. Second Timothy 4 and 1. I charge thee, therefore, before God and the Lord Jesus Christ, who shall judge the quick and the dead.
Judge the quick and the dead, man. Christ is going to judge the dead and the alive. Go ahead.
At his appearing and his kingdom. Verse 2. Preach the word. Be instant in season. Out of season.
We need to be instant in season. We need to preach the word in season and out of season. Meaning this is a forever thing, man. Like hot topics and so forth. When there's a hot topic, you speak on that hot topic, man. In season, like obviously you don't want to like obviously you don't want coronavirus to be a big pandemic, and you're talking about something that's got nothing to do with what you're seeing around you. Like you want to make things relatable, so we preach the word in season and out of season. So what happens? We capitalize on it, man. Coronavirus. What happens? We go to camp. We're talking about coronavirus, man. Like for instance, you wouldn't talk about Halloween in August. You wouldn't talk about Halloween in August. Everyone's going to look at you like, it's not even Halloween. So you preach the word in season and out of season. Go ahead.
It's like and fake Israelite groups mean, in season, out of season, meaning when it's raining, it's out of season. You're out there preaching. It don't mean that. It don't mean it's to knowing and you're out there still with the Bible. It's common sense. No one ain't listening because it's raining.
Exactly. So
So
you're going to be out there in the rain and get pneumonia and down. Listen, man, this is why you got to come to the I.S.U.P.K, man. That's why you got to come to the I.S.U.P.K so you can find out about preaching the word in season and out of season.
In season, out of season, reprove.
Reprove, man. Meaning what? You use this Bible for correction, so forth.
Rebuke.
Rebuke, correction as well, reprove. Like you can be battling someone, you reprove them with the Bible. You're saying this, the Bible says this. For rebuke, for correction, man. Go ahead.
Exhort with all long suffering.
Exhort with all long suffering.
And doctrine. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine.
That's like what verse are we?
Verse 3 now.
Verse 5.
But after their own lust.
I'm trying to think of like the wrong one.
2 Timothy 4.
Oh, yeah, also 2 Timothy 4, yeah, that's the one.
For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine.
So the times come when people won't endure sound doctrine. Now, people are going to listen to what feels right to them, whatever feels right in their head, whatever they're doing. Now, if you want to commit, if you want to live a certain lifestyle, and there's an Israelite, fake Israelite group that says you can do this, you're going to go join them, man. You're not going to endure sound doctrine. Why? Because sound doctrine offends you, man. Sound doctrine means you can no longer do what you want to do. So you don't want to follow that, man. You need to distort the gospels, man, and be like a Christian and say, oh, well, the law's done away with. Why? Because you want to eat pork, man. Now, if the law's done away with, you're free to eat pork. You're free to live a disgusting lifestyle. So you don't want to endure sound doctrine. Go ahead.
But after their own lust.
What?
But after their own lust.
So you don't like the I.S.U.P.K, why? Because this is sound doctrine and it goes against your lust, man. It goes against what you desire. It goes against what you want to do. So you would rather find someone that teaches you it's okay to do wrong. Why? Because then it makes you feel better. It makes you feel like, well, in my mind, I know what I'm doing is wrong, but he okayed it. So I'm agree with this because he okayed it. Whereas you being in here, you have to follow sound doctrine, man. And this world no longer wants sound doctrine. This world wants to distort all the gospels, man. Wants to distort the words in the Bible, wants to distort what you're supposed to do and not what you're supposed to do. Go ahead.
After their own lust, shall they heap to themselves shall heap to themselves teachers having itching ears.
And they find teachers, man, that tell them what they want to hear. They have itching ears, meaning what? Whatever their teachers tell them is good, which sides with their lust. That's what they're going to do, man. Because they have itching ears. They don't want to hear sound doctrine. They want to hear lies, man. Like a precept, this is what in Isaiah it goes and prophesy unto smooth things. They want people to prophesy unto them smooth things, man. They want people to tell them what sounds good, what sounds nice, what sounds lovely. That's what they want to hear. Go ahead.
And they shall turn away their ears from the truth.
And they shall what?
Turn away their ears from the truth.
And those kind of people ain't going to receive the crown of Christ. Those people that turn away their ears from the truth, they ain't going to receive a crown of life, man. Because they've done turned away their ears from the truth. Go ahead.
And shall be turned unto fables.
And now, most of them is turned into fables, man. Reading the book of Enoch, the book of Joshua, believing half human, half man. All of them weird books, believing there's some lunatic on my Facebook that every week is reading some new weird book, man. Like you know, someone highlights something. So I read that and think, I've never seen that in the Bible before. And then it's some next weird book, some next weird book. What is it? The 12 Patriarchs and all the books. Listen, man, the book of Barnabas and all of them things, man. And the book of Enoch, the book of Adam and Eve. And Adam had a wife called Lilith that flew out of the earth. Listen, man, all these, you're going to be turned onto fables. People believing that angels had sex with women, and then flood, angels had sex with women. And then in one of the books, I believe it's in Enoch, it tells you that like what a giant is the size of what 22 double-decker buses. It's about 22 double-decker buses. So you mean to tell me that had sex with a woman? Listen, man, it's all lies, man.
She's dead, man.
It's all lies. She's gonna die, man. Listen, man, that he wouldn't be able to do nothing to her, man. She's gonna be like, this is more to me, man. It's gonna be like what Jack and the Beanstalk. It's gonna be like you're watching too much Jack and the Beanstalk, man. All of those things is lies. And then listen, man. Like people, and in the movies, the giant movies, the giant walks in the earth, and the earth goes boom, 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 boom. Listen, it's fake, man. I swear they've even tried to make fake big footprints and so forth.
Yeah.
See, they got all these fake big footprints and whatnot. And then now they got some fake bones where they were tied. Goliath's. This is Goliath's body. When if you read the Bible, you would know that David cut Goliath's head off, man. Now with that, they've got Goliath's whole body in one, his bones, his skull, his back, all in one. And then they got Goliath's. They've done a thing and they're trying to make it big with like a stone in there. They put a little tiny stone in there, and they're trying to say this is Goliath's bones. Listen, man, it's a lie, man. It's a lie. Don't believe all this nonsense, man. All of these things is fables. People are turning onto fables, reading all these books, man. All you need is the Bible, man. Don't ever get swayed into believing all this nonsense. Because what happens is you start reading all these next books, and what happens? You no longer believe in the truth, man. You start to say, well, the book of Enoch goes against the Bible, so the Bible can't be true. You start to say, well, the Bible says this, but Joshua says this, and I want to believe Joshua. Then you start to go against the Bible, and you be turned onto fables, man. You be turned onto all these lies that you think is true, and then you confuse yourself, and then you confuse everybody else, and so forth. But you ain't going to confuse the men in here, because we know those books are garbage, man. The only people who read the book of Enoch is Ethiopians, man. That was only canon in what the book of was for Ethiopians, man. And they didn't even find no Hebrew manuscripts of it, man. Listen, all of that is garbage, man. All these book of Enoch and whatnot. The book of Enoch has nothing to do with the man Enoch in the Bible, man. Has nothing to do with it, man. The man Enoch in the Bible didn't write that book. And this is how you know the book of Enoch's garbage. You know why? Because there's Enoch 1, 2, and 3. And there's 3 books of Enoch. There's Enoch 1, Enoch 2, Enoch 3. And people say, oh, no, we only believe in the first one. The second one has witchcraft in it. It doesn't say the second one has witchcraft in there. And I'm sure the same man wrote all 3, right? That's right. I'm sure the same man wrote all 3, man. So it's either you have to believe in all of them or believe in none of them. It's all garbage. And the Bible said people are going to be turned onto fables. If you believe in those books, you can turn onto fables. Go ahead.
But watch thou in all things, endure affliction.
And that's what we need to do. We need to endure affliction, man. What we go through, we need to endure it. Why? Because we're fighting for a crown of life, man. This ain't no play thing, man. This is a crown of life that we're striving for. That's what we're trying to get, man. We're trying to get this crown. We're trying to what? Be one of the first fruits to the Lord, man. That's what we're trying to be, man. We're trying to be the best we can be. We're trying to be counted worthy in that day. That's what we're trying to do. Go ahead.
Do the work of an evangelist.
Doing the work of an evangelist. I believe an evangelist is what someone that preaches the word of the Lord. An evangelist is someone who preaches the word of the Lord, man. Who does the work of God, man. But obviously, we don't use terms like evangelist because what the Christians use it. So they butchered that term, man. They butchered the term evangelist and so forth. They butchered it all the way. Go ahead.
Make full proof of thy ministry.
Make full proof of thy ministry, man. Meaning what? We need to do this truth properly. Like, you can't be lukewarm. You have to be pick a side, man. Either be hot or cold, man. Because we're striving for a crown of life, man. We ain't doing this why? Because it's fun. We ain't doing this because we're bored. We're doing this why? Because this is the work of the Lord, man. Like, you got brothers that do what? Come straight from their slave and do testament. Meaning sometimes you leave your house at 5, 6 in the morning, man. You go work, you're tired, and you have to do the work of the Lord, man. The work of an evangelist. That's what we're doing. Why? So we can be counted worthy in that day, man. So we can receive the crown of life. Go ahead.
For I am now ready to be offered. And the time.
Now, this is what Paul. This is Paul. Paul's ready to die, man. Why? Paul's of the age, man. Paul's of the age, Paul's ready to die. Like, Paul's letting you know is ready. Go ahead.
To be offered, and the time of my departure. The time of my departure.
And Paul's letting you know that it's the time of his departure is going to come, man. Meaning it's time for him to go. So he's giving you hope and he's giving you courage, man. Go ahead.
Is at hand. I have fought a good fight.
I have what?
I have fought a good fight.
And that's what you want to do. You want to fight a good fight, man. You want to die with honor, respect, and dignity, man. You don't want to die like a fool, man. You don't want to die like an idiot. Paul said, I have fought a good fight. Meaning Paul did what? The work of an evangelist, man. Paul went to jail for the word of the Lord, man. Whereas some people see that they're going to go to jail and say, oh, I don't want to do this truth no more. I don't want to do this truth no more. I'm scared. It's not for me. My job might see me. I don't want to do the work of an evangelist no more. I don't want to do the work of God no more. Some people will see and do that, man. Whereas Paul said, I've fought a good fight, man. Paul battled his demons and his afflictions. Why? Because Paul said there's something in his side. Paul said there's a thorn in his side, man, that buffets him. That's what Paul said, man. Meaning Paul was going through something. Now, obviously, it doesn't tell you what Paul was going through. I believe Christians lie and say Paul had a limp. Is that the same thing?
That's what it is.
Nonsense. They say Paul had a limp. I don't know where they get that from. But listen, man. Paul was going through something like we all go through something. And Paul did what? Asked the Lord to take it away from him. And what did the Lord say to Paul? In what was it again? In his weakness, it's made his strength. Meaning what? This is your weakness. You're going through something. But by you fighting this, you're showing your strength, man. Meaning we must fight all our demons to show our strength. We mustn't give in, man. Why? Because in our weakness, we must show our strength, man. Our strength is what? The power of the Most High, man. Our strength is that which can overcome anything, any lust, any demon, any desire, anything that you think you can't fight and battle. By you understanding the power of the Lord, man, you can overcome anything, man. In our weakness, the Lord is our strength, man. Read on. So what verse?
Go on verse 8 now.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course.
I have what?
I have finished my course.
And that's what we're supposed to do. Finish our course, man. We're supposed to finish our course. Meaning you're meant to be in this truth to the end, man. You can't be like, you know what? Well, that wasn't the truth. I gave 20 years service. Why I can't be asked no more? Paul said, I have finished my course, man. Paul did what he needed to do, man. Go ahead, let's see what Paul said.
I have kept the faith.
I have what?
Kept the faith.
Paul kept the faith, man. Why? Because Paul believed this truth, man. So Paul understood, the work that I'm doing, there's some reward for it, man. Paul understood what I'm doing this is going to save my life, man. This is the truth. That's what Paul understood, man. Paul said, I've kept the faith. Go ahead.
Henceforth, there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness.
What?
Laid up for me a crown of righteousness.
Paul said, it's laid up for me a crown of righteousness, man. Why? Because he stayed the whole course. He didn't leave the truth. He didn't give up. He battled them demons that he had, man. He battled what he was struggling with. And you're supposed to battle what you're struggling with, man. Let's get one last piece before we close out. 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 1.
2 Timothy 2 and 1. Thou, therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Christ Jesus.
And how do you be strong, man? Brotherhood, man. Brotherhood makes you strong, man. We all have one common goal in here, man. We're all here to serve the Most High Christ, man. So when you're going through something and you're feeling weak, how do you be strong? You pick up the phone, man, and get with your brothers. Imagine there's something telling you to do something and you're not strong. You be around your brothers and you won't be able to do it, man. Why? Because they're going to say no, man. They're going to say, like, oh, you're not doing that, man. Like, when you're around us, you're going to be thinking, no. no shrimp, no crabs, smoking. You ain't gonna be smoking no cigarettes. Why? Because we're gonna be your strength, man. We're gonna give you that strength and be like, yo, you ain't doing that, man. Brotherhood is a weapon, man. We keep saying it, but most people don't believe it. But brotherhood is a weapon. Go ahead.
And the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men who shall.
It says, commit thou to faithful men. The men in the I.S.U.P.K is faithful men. Man.
That's right.
Commit thou to them. Go ahead.
Who shall be able to teach others also.
That's us, man. Faithful men who shall be able to teach others also. Go ahead.
Thou therefore endure hardness.
And we need to endure hardness, man. We need to go through stuff and endure. We need to fight and fight and fight and battle, man. And when you're feeling weak, pick up the phone and get with your brothers, man. Don't try to do this alone, because the demon in your head will tell you nobody loves you, everybody hates you, nobody cares about you, they don't care about your problems. Don't phone for counsel. That's what the demon in your head will tell you.
That's right.
And really, you pick up the phone and call brothers, man. Brothers' phones is on 24/7, man. You're going through anything, you pick up the phone, man. You'll take your call. We'll set you straight. Satan will be in your head telling you stuff. Brothers, they'll tell you, oh, they're thinking this, they're thinking that, when really, that's a demon, man. You don't know what no one's thinking until you ask them, man. And that's why us as black people can't get along, because our problem always is, I think this person's got a problem with me. I think that person's got a problem with me. And for the most part, they probably don't know it exists like that, man. They're probably minding, listen, everyone's minding their own business, man. Everyone's minding their own business, man. I was in the gym, and a brother in my gym probably a few days ago. About a week ago now. Like ages ago, I've been sitting in the gym, we don't say no words to each other. And then we started speaking one day, and he said to me, oh, you know what? First when I saw you, I didn't like you. I was like, why? He goes, you know what? I used to think it was arrogant, and I used to think, yo, you think you this and you that. And it's gone to me, yo, since I speak to you, I realized you're nothing like what I thought. He said, yo, you're nothing like what I thought. And then that just goes to show that the demons in your head will make you dislike a person until you ain't even spoke to them, man. The brother said, you know what? I speak to him, you're nothing like what I thought he was like. And me and him get on good, which lets you know, man, you could have a perception in your head of someone, and that's not who that person really is. That demon's telling you that's who that person is, but really, that's not really that.
Thou therefore endure hardness.
Thou therefore what?
Endure hardness.
So we must endure hardness, man. We must fight them demons, man. Go ahead.
As a good soldier.
And we must be a good soldier, man. A good soldier does what? Follows orders, man. A good soldier of the Lord does what? Follows orders, endures hardship. That's what we must do, follow orders and endure hardship. Go ahead.
As a good soldier of Jesus Christ.
We must be a good soldier of Jesus Christ, man. Let's get the next verse.
No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life.
We need to stop entangling ourselves with the affairs of this life. Who cares about this life, man? It's not, you're living it, but it's not real life, it's temporary. Listen, man, we got bigger fish to fry, man. We're trying to get a crown of life, but we ain't trying to entangle ourselves with the affairs of this life. Go ahead.
Himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who have chosen him to be a soldier.
Our job is to please the Lord who's chose us to be a soldier, man. Chose us to be a soldier, man. Chose us to be warriors. Chose us to be his people and serve him, man. That's what we need to do, please him, man. We don't need to entangle ourselves with the affairs of this world. This world don't mean nothing, man. Who cares, man? It's temporary. And with that, that brings us to the end of the class.
All right, that was a powerful class. Let's give Officer Dungabar a hand for such an excellent class. All right, so with that, we're going to give the a teacher, one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, I Madyam Shabbat, I Madyam Barak, Yahweh Ba Shem Yahweh Shai Barakatah, Yad Yamata, class dismissed.